duper
it
interesting
doesn't feel
morning.
like we left here on Monday because a lot has happened in the time we left here. The list of people not going to the World Cup has increased. In fact, I think we should start a new list. Those not going to the World Cup, that's a whole list. But what's interesting,
Mm-hmm.
Karim Benzema
Ooh,
won
yes,
Ballon
I
d'Or.
know.
What's kept secret. I think what was really funny to me was that he looked tense throughout. I was
Like
like, guy, you are winning this thing. Why are you
he
crying?
was like, no, not until I
If I,
receive
I
it
I
in my
kid you not,
hands.
if Zizu mistakenly mentioned another name, defibrillator, because the way Karim Benzema was doing, I was like, okay, you're not writing jam or what? Calm down.
You got it.
But it was nice to see for once people take recognition so seriously. Because sometimes we have this bad habit of just saying, "Oh yeah, they recognize me already, I'm great." But people
Mhm.
taking that recognition, that finally I'm getting recognition for what I've been doing so well. The oldest Ballon d'Or winner,
Cue the
the
tears.
oldest. So um, time will not stop whatever is going to happen to you from happening. You know how they say, "Let me not become
This is a
biblical."
moment of inspiration
Yeah.
beyond the quotes.
Before I become biblical, you know what they say about
Mm-hmm.
God redeeming the times
Mm-hmm.
and Him doing so much for you in the time you have left. 34. He won it. He's just like, some people have 7 and they're taking it for granted. These guys are like, this my one,
He was
eh?
like, it's
Then we hear it.
my
Oh yeah,
precious.
but it was a very emotional moment. Huge moment, and he's one of the one of the few winners that you hear and say, yeah, everybody was just like, yeah, it has to be Karim.
Mm.
Yeah, there were no
No
second guesses.
dissenters,
I
yeah.
think the for me the biggest shock, and that's because I have PTSD as an African, was Sadio Mane coming second. That was the
Oh,
biggest shock.
God.
It's PTSD. It's not like he didn't deserve it. I was just like, are they going to give this man? He came second, so a huge one there. Congratulations to him, and then Kevin De Bruyne coming third. But there was also a big controversy that happened on the ninth, and it wasn't a controversy if you understood what was happening, in the sense that um, they had Ballon d'Or had done something which I questioned, which was they scrapped the team of the year, and instead they decided to do club of the year. And Club of the Year, they gave the rules very specifically. They said if you have the highest number of nominees on the Ballon d'Or list, then you are automatically the Club of the Year. And so Real Madrid had, as great as Real Madrid's season was, they had only 5 players on the Ballon d'Or list. Liverpool had 6 players, Man City had 6 players, but Man City had one woman and 5 men. So the club as a whole was doing well for them to be producing on the men and the women's team. And that's why they won Club of the Year. And for some reason, everybody just misunderstood it and was talking about, oh, Team of the Year, oh, this of the year. And I'm just like, no, they explained it specifically. There's no Ojoro here. It's Club of the Year based on nominations. You didn't argue with the nomination. So why are you arguing with Man City winning Club of the Year? So that has been explained. It wasn't Team of the Year, so it wasn't based on performance of the teams. It was Club of the Year, so it was based on the number of players that were able to excel in the year. And Manchester City only won it because they had men and women on the Ballon d'Or list, and other people with high numbers did not have men and women. So Barcelona would have been another team that could have won that, but they didn't have 5 players in total nominated on the list. So everybody calm down.
All right, now we're going to take you through the rundown of sports as we get into what we're going to be talking about for the next half hour. We'll be starting off with Flamingos defeating Chile 2-1 and qualifying for the quarterfinals at the Under 17 Women's World Cup. We've got Rebekina still on track for the WTA finals with a win over Pliskova. And Stephen Curry shines in Golden State's convincing ring night win. More coming your way as we get into the locker room. Then Francis Conte to miss the World Cup. Uh-oh. What happened? Xavi aiming to prevent the Barca spiral as Villarreal visits, and Klopp charged after red card against Manchester City. So that's what we've got coming your way. Keep it up. And also Ten Hag understanding of Ronaldo reaction to substitution. All right, let's get into it with, first of all, what's happening with our under 17 women's team. The Flamingos have qualified for the quarterfinal of the ongoing FIFA under 17 Women's World Cup with a deserved 2-1 win over Chile on Monday. The win means that the Flamingos are going to be facing the United States of America in the quarterfinals.
Yes, so huge one. Like I said, we're going to get the results we needed to qualify. But it was a little tricky because the Flamingos were playing really well, creating all these chances, but again, not clinical enough. And I do think they should have had a penalty given, but it wasn't given. I do also think that they should have scored more goals, but they didn't score enough goals, and they made it a little tricky for them when the referee had to use. In fact, that was not microscope viewing by VAR. They had to bring out bowl and water to be able to see that penalty to give it against Nigeria, because it took a while. Even the referee wasn't convinced that it should have. I mean, she should give it, but VAR, she kept going back and forth with VAR. Eventually, she had to give the penalty, and so Chile scored the penalty and looked like it was going to make it tricky moments for Nigeria, but Nigeria ended up winning that and finishing second in their group with 3 points. Yeah, finishing second with their group with 6 points, sorry, behind Germany. What that meant was that they get to play against, I will say this with a prayer, the United States of America.
What do you think will happen?
And you know, with men's football, yeah, like we're playing USA, I beg.
But with women's
football,
that's different.
I mean, the US have struggled in this tournament. Don't get me wrong.
So there's hope on the horizon.
So yeah, there's hope on the horizon. They've struggled. You can tell that this is the age grade team just trying to come up. The girls are really still trying to find a fit. Tactically, they look good with their structure, the way they build up. It's just their touches, their finishing, final decision making. So yes, there's still a side that is growing, which is what you should see in age grade football. But it's still the United States of America women football team. I'll be afraid.
That's all. That's all. You know, they're like Denzel, even at their worst.
Yeah. So even at their worst, just be afraid.
All right. And Wimbledon champion Elena Rybakina remained in contention for the WTA final spot with a